Hello. Today we will start the principles of earthquake resistant design. The syllabus in this unit is planning aspect, symmetry, simplicity, regularity, resistance of structural elements and structures for dynamic load, design criteria, strength and deflection. This much syllabus is in this unit, that is the principles of earthquake resistant design. And whatever this aspect, that aspects are useful to become our building as a earthquake resistant building, and so that such a principles are written here, that are the symmetry, simplicity, regularity, whatever the structural elements, we have to increase their strength and the deflection, as well as the design criteria. By increasing the strength and the design criteria, will achieve the building as a earthquake resistant building. Okay, such a points we'll discuss in this unit number 5, that is the principles of earthquake resistant design. We'll see here the about the title of the chapter. About the title of the chapter, this chapter gives idea about the points that should be considered by architecture and structural designer during conceptual design of structure to avoid failure. About the title of the chapter, this chapter gives idea about the points that should be considered by architecture and structural designer during conceptual design of structure to avoid failure. Means in this chapter we are going to study about the principles. With respect to these principles, points to be considered by the architecture and the structural designer during the conceptual design of structures to avoid the earthquake failure. Okay, means we have to go for the design of structure in such a way that the points regarding the architectural aspect and related to the structures we have to take into account in such a way that our structure should avoid the earthquake failure. Okay, the second point is the about the central idea of the chapter. In this chapter, we'll study the different planning aspects such as symmetry, simplicity, regularity to avoid the structural failure. We will also focus on issue to improve the resistance of structural element. In this chapter, the central idea is that we'll see whatever the principles. In that principles, we'll see the symmetry, simplicity, some of the points regarding the regularity of the building, some of the principles regarding the structural failure of the building. Okay, in this way all the points regarding the simplicity, symmetry, whatever the principles are there, that all principles we should learn in this unit to improve the resistance of the structural element. Okay, and the next point is the importance of the chapter. By just strengthening the structure by adding extra material while designing the components will not minimize the failure risk during the earthquake, and therefore the components will not minimize the failure risk during earthquake, and therefore care must be taken to avoid structural damage from its conceptual design itself. Means overall I will tell you here, बघा आपल्याला या चॅप्टरमध्ये प्रिन्सिपल्स ऑफ अर्थक्वेक रेजिस्टंट डिझाईन या ज्या चॅप्टरमध्ये देर आर दी या चॅप्टरमध्ये वेगवेगळ्या टाईपचे काय दिलेले आहेत प्रिन्सिपल्स दिलेले आहेत. कुठले कुठले प्रिन्सिपल्स आहेत तर त्या ठिकाणी सिम्पली आहे, सिमेट्रिकल स्ट्रक्चर, रेग्युलॅरिटी ऑफ द स्ट्रक्चर्स and ductility of the structures. All these parameters are taken into account, and we have to study these all the points which are very important to achieve the resistivity power of the structure when during the earthquake. So for that purpose we have to study the principles, and by applying such a principles while planning of the structure, if we use, our structures become a earthquake resistant structure. बघा तुम्हाला समजला असेल किंवा नसेल तर you should take, once again I will tell here. बघा name of the chapter is the principles of earthquake resistant design. तर प्रिन्सिपल्स कुठले कुठले आहेत आपले वेगवेगळ्या टाईपचे प्रिन्सिपल आहेत. दॅट आर दी ओव्हरऑल फॉर्म ऑफ द building form, symmetry, simplicity. Again there will be a regularity of the structures, ductility of the structures. These all parameters are included in this unit, and that all parameters we should learn. If we learn this and if we apply such a principles into the construction site, then our building will be become as a earthquake resistant building. And for that purpose we have to minimize such a risk during an earthquake. We have to go for the principles, whatever the principles of the earthquake resistant design principles. Okay, as far as our civil engineering, we have to take into account the whatever the principles regarding the during the earthquake, that building should act as a earthquake resistant building. That all principles we should take into account while planning of the building. Okay, next is the what are the objective and the outcome of this chapter. Okay, only we are going to focus in this unit regarding the planning aspect and the resistivity power of the structural elements, and that both these points we should achieve by the principles, whatever the principles we are going to discuss in this unit. Okay, there two objectives are here. Only we have to focusing on the objectives like a planning aspect and the resistance of the structural element. In both these objectives we will increase, both these objectives will define based on the principles of the planning of the earthquake resistant building. Our conceptual design of this chapter is a principles of earthquake resistant design. In this there is a first point already they have written here. While conceiving a new construction project, an architect or designer should give through thought to the form, shape and materials of the structure, as well as the functional and cost requirements, to avoid a critical failure during an earthquake. Means in this point we'll discuss here the while conceiving the new construction project, means we will achieve some new project, we are going to deal with the new project. At that time we have to go through the processes like architectural as well as the designer. Architect will make a plan, designer should check a design. In this way, whatever the form, whatever the shape and whatever the materials of the structures we are going to use, that should be with respect to their cost requirements. This all parameters should be taken into account to avoid a critical failure during an earthquake. Means in this, while conceiving the new project, we have to in this project we have to go for the architect, and the designer should give through thought of the, means the designer as well as the architect, both these peoples should go through the thought to the form, shape and material which is useful in the structure, as well as the functional and cost requirements, to avoid a critical failure during an earthquake. Often architects conceive wonderful and imaginative forms and shape to create an aesthetic and functionally efficient structure. Means that architects over there, and he has to imaginative, he has having the imaginative power in the different forms, different shapes, but that shape or that form of the building, whatever the plan he has prepared, that should be a functionally efficient structures. Yeah, that plan should be a earthquake resistant plan while there are the different loads are acting on the structures like a dynamic loads. Okay, each of these choices has significant bearing on the performance of the structure because of the associated vulnerability. Means what are the different forces, like earthquake forces are acting on the structure at that time also. Whatever the choices has a significant bearing capacity, which is based on the performance of the structures, that is depends upon the basically prepare the conceptual design, that is the based on the conceptual plan of the building. So in this conceptual design, that four 3 points are over here, which are based on the architects and the designer. They will plan, they will form the shape, they will make sure that about the materials of the structure, cost requirement of the structure in such a way that to avoid a critical failure during an earthquake, and that earthquake have a imaginative power, so that he has to prepare the plan in such a way that plan should be a earthquake resistant plan, and that earthquake resistant plan which having the efficient structure, functionally efficient structures, means it has a good quality regarding the symmetry, simplicity or the regularity. Okay, all of you understand this. once again I will tell here. बघा, आपले आर्किटेक्ट्स असेल किंवा डिझायनर असेल, ते काय करणार आहेत आपले, दे विल मेक अ form, shape or the materials of the structures, but in such a way that they will make a form or the shape, or they will choose a material of the building whatever required for the construction in such a way that should be avoid a critical failure during an earthquake. And architects conceives a wonderful and imaginative power, but he has to prepare the plan in such a way that the shape or the forms of the building that create an aesthetic as well as the functionally efficient structure. Functionally efficient structure means that plan should be resist the forces, whatever the forces acting on the structure, and that should be become a earthquake resistant design of the building. Okay, in this diagram, I have shown here the mechanism of long period earthquake ground motion. You can see here the epicenter of the, that already we have covered, that epicentral part, and the whatever the seismic waves, different types of the seismic waves in the unit number 1. Hello. In the unit number 1 already we have covered. In the same way we will see here epicenter is shown here. Epicenter is nothing but a that center at which the point at which the earthquake is occur, that is nothing but a center. From this center there are the waves are produces, that are the seismic waves are shown here. Some of the waves are surface waves, some of the waves are body waves, but these two types of the waves are disturbing to the structures. And there are the some of the vertical, some of the horizontal waves are shown in this picture. At that time, if earthquake is occur and there are the such a types of the waves, horizontal as well as the vertical waves are produces, and they are disturbing to the structures, and at that time whatever the basic plans or whatever the basic assumptions, whatever the basic principles we should make in such a way that the way that building should become a resistant, earthquake resistant building, that all parameters we have to discuss in this unit only. Okay, based on this diagram you should understand this, that is the epicenter. If earthquake is occur, that epicenter is at the interior of the earth, and in that earth there is a, if earthquake is occur at some depth, and from that waves are produces, that waves are sometimes body waves or the surface waves which travels in the horizontal or sometimes in vertical direction. And when these waves are produces, they are disturbing to the structures. When they are disturbing to the structure, so at that time whatever the loads, whatever the seismic loads coming from that waves to the structure, towards the structure, at that time our structure should resist, that structure having some resistivity power, and that resistivity power we can achieve by applying the, initially we can achieving that resistivity power by applying the sum of the principle, that are the basic principles to the applying to the structures. Okay, so in this way we have to go for the basic principles of the structures which make the building as a earthquake resistant building. I hope all of you understand this. You can write down your notebook, name of the chapter, principles of earthquake resistant design. You write the syllabus. In your notebook, you write the principles of earthquake resistant design. You write the syllabus, planning aspects, symmetry, simplicity, regularity, resistance of structural elements, and structures for dynamic load, design criteria, strength and deflection. Based on this, you write the conceptual design, conceptual design. In this, you write conceptual design should have a form, shape, and materials 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 of the structure as well as the functional and cost requirements to avoid a critical failure during an earthquake. Second point, you write architects conceive wonderful and imaginative forms and shapes to create an aesthetic and functionally efficient structure and functionally efficient structures. Full stop. In next line you write, each of these choices has significant bearing on the performance of the structure because of the associated vulnerability. In this way, same, you draw this diagram in your notebook. You should write the points: epicenter, from the epicenter the waves are produces, that waves are seismic waves in terms of body waves and surface waves. In this way, you draw this diagram in your notebook. Mechanism of long period of earthquake ground vibration with respect to epicenter, horizontal and vertical seismic waves, and they are disturbing to the structure. You show this diagram in your notebook, and you understand this. If you understand, we'll go for the next slide. In that picture, that epicenter is shown. Through that epicenter, seismic waves are produced. That waves are travel in horizontal and vertical direction, and when these waves are travels at that time, because of this vibration, that building is getting vibrated, and that load is coming to the building from the earthquake load, and at that earthquake loads we have to make sure that our building should resist such a earthquake load, such a dynamic loads with respect to the basic principles of the planning. So we have to go for the planning, which are the basic principles in the planning of the building. While planning of the new building, we have to use the basics of the planning, which are related to the, which are making our building as a earthquake resistant building. According to building codes, earthquake resistant structures are intended to withstand the largest earthquake of a certain probability that is likely to occur at their location. This means the loss of life should be minimized by preventing collapse of the building for rare earthquakes, while the loss of functionality should be limited for more frequent ones. Means in already we have seen in this diagram that earthquake is produces at the epicenter, the waves are produces, and because of these waves there is a vibration is occur in vertical and horizontal direction, and that's why they are troubling to our building. So at that time, we have to intended to withstand the largest earthquake of a certain probability that is likely to occur at their location. Because there is a loss of life, and that loss of life we have to minimize by using the sum of the basic principles of the planning while planning of the building. and that should be minimized with respect to this principle. So we should take into account while planning, while constructing of the building, as far as the earthquake resistant design of the building. Conceptual design: the architect should interact with structural engineer to conceive the most appropriate and seismically safe structures. Means, as far as our structural engineer, that structural engineer should that person should knows the all the whatever the earthquake loads coming on the structure. So that structural designer should know that all the values of the loads, all the loads coming on the structure, and he has to apply that all the loads during the designing processes. But architect, so that architect should interact with the structural engineer. Already we know, as we are the engineer, we are going to study this earthquake engineering for the purpose of making our building as a earthquake resistant building. So that whatever the earthquake load, that earthquake loads, if we assume while designing of the building, then our building will become as a earthquake resistant building. And for that purpose, that every architect, that every structural engineer, every engineer, he should knows the all the principles, whatever the basic principles regarding the earthquake resistant design. And so that every architect should interact with the structural engineer, which having the most appropriate and seismically safe structure regarding the earthquake resistant building. All of you understand? Means बघा या ठिकाणी architect and second thing is the structural engineer. Structural engineer काय करतो आपला? That structural engineer, he should make a design. That design of a beam, column, slab, footing, means all the parameter, all the structural elements, all the structural elements काय करतो आपण या ठिकाणी? That structural engineer should make a design, and based on this design आपण काय करणार आहे, तर आपली बिल्डिंग त्या ठिकाणी construct करणार आहोत. But before that, for the planning purpose, there is a architect, but that architect should interact with the structural engineer. Why? That structural engineer should know that all the details regarding the whatever the loads coming on the structure. If earthquake zone is there, at that time whatever the earthquake loads, that should be considered while designing or the planning of the building. And so that architect, he is going to plan a building, and before that he has to interact with a structural engineer, and that engineer knows the all the points regarding the planning or regarding the designing of the building, regarding the earthquake related load. And so that if we consider this all the loads while designing and planning of the building, while planning of the building, at that time our building will become a most appropriate and seismically safe structure. And so that purpose, that communication or interaction between these two persons are very important, that is the architect and the second is the structural engineer, for achieving the most appropriate and seismically safe structures. Next point is the a good configuration and reasonable framing system can even overcome poor quality of constructions without greatly affecting the ultimate performance. Okay, a good configuration, a good configuration and reasonable framing system can even overcome poor quality of construction without greatly affecting the ultimate performance. In this, we'll see here the whatever the configuration of the building that is good. At that time, there is whatever the effect such a loads coming on the structure, that will be going to be reduces. And for that purpose, to overcome such a reasonable thinking, reasonable framing system can overcome by the good configuration and the quality of the construction, that will be a better for the resistivity, increasing the resistivity power of the earthquake during earthquake forces. Okay, within 2 minutes our meeting will be closed, so all should join immediately after these 2 minutes once again. ठीक आहे, 2 मिनिटामध्ये आपली मीटिंग संपते, सो ऑल शुड जॉईन वन्स अगेन through the same link. Whatever the points we have discussed, you should write in your notebook related to the principles of earthquake resistant design. From that, we have seen some of the points that you should write in your notebook. The first point we have seen that architect should interact with the structural engineer and to conceive the most appropriate and seismically safe structures. Okay. Second thing is the good configuration. If the building having the good configuration, that building should overcome such a forces coming on the structures. Okay, that is the good configuration. That is the second point. That is related to the that point is related to the conceptual design, means we have to achieve the building like a earthquake resistant building with a good configuration. Next point is the decisions made at the conceptual stage are difficult to modify, so it is essential that their full consequences in terms of performance and cost are understood as early as possible.